Welcome to Supernova. Our discussion today on the ethics of advertising. Advertising is all around us, from TV commercials to billboards, and it's constantly vying for our attention. But the question arises, is advertising a form of manipulation or persuasion? Today, we'll delve deeper into this topic and explore the ethical implications of advertising. Let's define what we mean by manipulation and persuasion. Manipulation involves using dishonest or unethical tactics to influence someone's behavior, while persuasion involves using ethical and truthful methods to convince someone to take a particular action. The ethics of advertising is a complex issue that has been debated for decades. On one hand, advertising can be seen as a legitimate means of informing consumers about products and services that are available to them. On the other hand, advertising can also be seen as a form of manipulation that seeks to exploit consumers' desires and emotions in order to sell products. Advertising can be seen as both manipulation and persuasion. On one hand, advertisers often use tactics such as emotional appeals, exaggeration, and selective presentation of information to manipulate consumers into buying their products. On the other hand, advertising can also be seen as a form of persuasion, where companies are simply presenting information about their products and trying to convince consumers that their product is the best choice. At the heart of this debate is the question of whether advertising is primarily a form of manipulation or persuasion. Those who view advertising as manipulation argue that advertisers use a variety of techniques to influence consumers' behavior, often without their knowledge or consent. These techniques may include subliminal messages, emotional appeals, and other forms of psychological manipulation. However, others argue that advertising is primarily a form of persuasion, and that advertisers simply use techniques to present their products in the best possible light. In this view, advertising is no different from any other form of communication, and consumers are free to make their own choices about whether to buy a product or not. Ultimately, the ethics of advertising depend on a number of factors, including the intentions of the advertiser, the nature of the product or service being advertised, and the potential impact on consumers. While some forms of advertising may be more manipulative than others, it is up to consumers to be aware of these tactics and to make informed decisions about what they buy. Additionally, it is up to advertisers to act ethically and responsibly in their marketing practices, and to avoid any actions that could be seen as manipulative or deceptive. The problem arises when companies cross the line from persuasion to manipulation. For example, when they make false or misleading claims about their products, use scare tactics to manipulate consumers, or exploit vulnerable populations like children or those with mental illnesses. Another ethical issue with advertising is its impact on society as a whole. Advertising can perpetuate harmful stereotypes, promote unrealistic beauty standards, and create a culture of materialism and consumption. It can also contribute to environmental degradation by promoting wastefulness and overconsumption. Creating a culture of materialism and consumption refers to the societal value system that places a high emphasis on the accumulation and consumption of material goods. This can be reinforced through advertising, which often promotes consumerism by highlighting the benefits of owning particular products and creating a sense of desire or status associated with them. In a culture of materialism and consumption, people are encouraged to constantly acquire new things, even when they may not necessarily need them. This can lead to excessive consumption and waste, as well as a focus on material possessions as a source of happiness and fulfillment, rather than on more meaningful aspects of life such as relationships, personal growth, and community. This culture can have negative impacts on individuals and society as a whole. For individuals, the pursuit of material goods can lead to financial stress, debt, and dissatisfaction with life. For society, overconsumption can contribute to environmental degradation, resource depletion, and other sustainability challenges. It's important to note that not all advertising promotes a culture of materialism and consumption, and that advertising can also be used to promote more sustainable behaviors and values. However, it's crucial to be aware of the potential for advertising to reinforce this culture and to actively resist it when it does. The importance of discussing the ethics of advertising. Manipulation or persuasion lies in the fact that advertising has a significant impact on our society and our daily lives. Advertising is everywhere, and it can influence our decisions, beliefs, and attitudes. By exploring the ethical implications of advertising, we can raise awareness about the potential harms of manipulative advertising practices. such as the promotion of harmful stereotypes, the exploitation of vulnerable populations, and the creation of a culture of overconsumption. Furthermore, understanding the difference between manipulation and persuasion in advertising can help individuals become more discerning consumers, able to make informed decisions about the products they purchase and the messages they receive. By promoting ethical advertising practices, we can ensure that companies are held accountable for their actions and that advertising is used to inform and persuade rather than manipulate and deceive. This, in turn, can lead to a more responsible and sustainable consumer culture, benefiting both individuals and society as a whole. So, what can be done to address these ethical concerns? One solution is for companies to adopt more ethical advertising practices. This includes being transparent about their products and avoiding dishonest or manipulative tactics. Additionally, there should be more regulations in place to prevent advertisers from targeting vulnerable populations and perpetuating harmful stereotypes. In conclusion, the ethics of advertising is a complex topic that requires careful consideration. While advertising can be a legitimate form of persuasion, it can also be manipulative and unethical. It's up to companies and society as a whole to ensure that advertising practices are ethical and not harmful to individuals or the environment. In conclusion, the ethics of advertising is a multifaceted topic that requires careful consideration. While advertising can be a legitimate form of persuasion, it can also be manipulative and unethical. Manipulative advertising practices, such as false or misleading claims, selective presentation of information, and the exploitation of vulnerable populations can have harmful consequences on individuals and society as a whole. Moreover, advertising can perpetuate harmful stereotypes, promote unrealistic beauty standards, and create a culture of materialism and consumption. However, ethical advertising practices that prioritize transparency, honesty, and respect for consumers and the environment can have a positive impact on society. By promoting ethical advertising practices and holding companies accountable for their actions, we can encourage a more responsible and sustainable consumer culture. Ultimately, it is up to individuals, companies, and society as a whole to ensure that advertising practices are ethical and not harmful to individuals or the environment. By being more discerning consumers and promoting ethical advertising practices, we can create a better and more just world for everyone. Thank you for joining us today, and we hope this discussion has given you some food for thought. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.